This video will demonstrate the Jasmine stitch or tie crochet. This stitch is made up of 3 puff stitches that come together with other combinations of puffs to form these interlocked flowers. I recommend stitching loosely so that your puffs are loose and puffy rather than kind of tight and flat. So I'm using a J hook. We're going to start with a slip stitch on our hook, Okay, so we're going to start with a single crochet. Now in the back loop of this single crochet is where we're going to be working. You're going to want to give yourself a little bit of yarn on your hook rather than having it snug to your hook. Give it a little bit. So you're going to yarn over and go into that back loop of the single crochet we just made, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through. This puts 3 loops on your hook. We're going to do the same thing, yarn over, go into that same back loop, yarn over and pull up. At this point we've got 5 loops on our hook. So now we're going to grab onto the yarn that's feeding into our project. You'll pinch it with your middle finger and your thumb. We're going to be putting a stitch into there in a minute, and that's why you need to hold on to it. So grab your yarn and pull through all 5 loops. So we're through. Now we just need to go into that piece we've been holding and make a single crochet. So that is the puff stitch that we're working with. So the piece that we'll do in this video is going to be 7 puffs wide as the foundation. So let's do that again. Give yourself some yarn on your hook, yarn over, and you're going to go right into that single crochet that we just completed. Grab the yarn and pull out. That's 3 loops on your hook, and do the same thing. Yarn over, go into that stitch, grab the yarn and pull out, and that's 5 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn that's feeding into our project, yarn over and pull through, and then go into that piece we're holding on to for a single crochet. So there's 2 of our 7 puffs. Okay, so that's our foundation. You can see here that we've got a puff and then a nice hole in between each puff. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 puffs. Okay, so now we need to do a turning puff. So we're going to pull up our yarn a little bit and pretty much do the same thing that we were doing, in that we go into that single crochet, pull up for 3 loops, yarn over and do it again. Now for the turning chains in this project, you don't need to hold on to the yarn as you pull through. We're just going to pull through like normal, and then we'll just put a single crochet right on top of that one to seal it in, just like that. Okay, so we're going to work our stitch, the next part of our stitch, into that single crochet we just made. So give yourself some yarn, yarn over and go right into that back loop of the single crochet. Grab the yarn and pull up. There's 3 loops. Again, grab the yarn, go in and pull up. So now that is the first puff that's going to make up the Jasmine stitch. The Jasmine stitch is made up of 3 different puffs. So there's that. Instead of completing like we normally do, we're actually going to yarn over and go into the next hole. So yarn over, go into that hole, grab the yarn and pull up, and do the same thing again. Yarn over, go into the hole and pull up. So at this point we have 9 loops on our hook. So now we're going to repeat the same step into the next hole. So yarn over and go in, grab your yarn and pull up, yarn over, go in, and pull up. Okay, so at this point we have 13 loops on our hook. You're going to grab the yarn that's feeding into the project and pull through all 13 of these. Now it can be kind of difficult, so I tend to pull in stages. I'll pull through the first grouping and then the second and the last. Once I'm through, then I'm going to see that piece I'm holding with my middle finger and thumb. I'm going to do a single crochet right in that, and that will seal off our 3 puffs. So you can see here we've got 3 puffs that are forming. Those are going to be arms of a flower. Okay, So the next stitch, it's going to be identical to the one we just did. You're going to give yourself some yarn, yarn over and go into the single crochet right there. Do that twice for 5 loops on your hook. And the next one is going to go right in the puff hole right there, right below it. So that would be between the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 6th and the 7th puff. So you're going to yarn over and go in twice. And again, yarn over and go into the next hole twice. Okay. So we've got 13 loops on our hook. You're going to grab the yarn feeding into the project, yarn over, and pull through each of those loops. Now put a single crochet in that piece you were holding. Okay, so there are 2 Jasmine stitches. Let's go for a third. Yarn over, go into the single crochet twice. Yarn over and go into this hole right below it, which would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, between the 5th and the 6th. Yarn over and go in. Okay, so there's 9 loops on our hook, and now we're going to go into the hole between the 4th and the 5th puff. So yarn over and go in there twice. Grab your yarn and pull through each of those. And then do a single crochet in the piece you've been holding. So that was 6. We'll count this here. So this is the turning puff. And then you've got the 3 arms of the first Jasmine stitch, the 3 arms of the second, 3 arms of the third, 3 arms of the 4th, 3 arms of the 5th, and 3 arms of the 6th. So we know we need to do one more. Besides that, we have this one puff that's kind of dangling out there. So pull your yarn up, yarn over, and go into the single crochet twice. Yarn over and go into the hole right below. So that's the hole between the 1st and 2nd puffs. Now for this next spot, normally we would go into the hole between this puff and then the next one, but there isn't one. So we're just going to go into, there's a little piece right to the right and above the slip knot. So that's where you're just going to go right in there. And do the same thing, yarn over and pull up, and again for 13 loops on our hook. Grab your yarn and pull through all of them just like normal, and then put a single crochet in the piece we've been holding. Just like that. So there we are. We've got 7 puff stitches, and you can see that the stars are starting to form. We need to do the next row to really make them complete. So we need to do a turning puff. When you turn your work, you want to make sure that you don't turn it so that the yarn's feeding in front, you turn it so that it's feeding in back. Okay, so we need to make a turning puff. So give yourself some yarn, yarn over, and just go right into that single crochet that you did. Grab the yarn and pull up for 3 loops on the hook, and again for 5 loops on the hook. And then remember, on our turning chain, we don't need to hold on to the yarn when we pull through. Just pull through like normal, and then put a single crochet right on top. Okay, so now we're going to continue on like you already know. So give yourself some yarn, yarn over and go into that back loop with a single crochet. Pull up for 3 and do it again for 5 loops. Okay, and then we're going to go into the hole right at the base of that turning puff. And again, and then we're going to go into the next hole. That's basically the center of that flower. Okay, so now we should have 13 loops on our hook. Grab the yarn and pull through all of them, and then put a single crochet in that piece we were holding. Okay, let's continue on. Pull up a little bit, do a yarn over and go into that single crochet and into the hole right at the bottom of that puff and in the next one. Okay, grab your yarn and pull through, and then do a single crochet. I'll do a couple more with you, but essentially you know all of the secrets of this stitch now, and you can just continue on. Okay, go into the hole right at the base there, and into the next one. Okay, we'll grab our yarn and pull through. And then we'll put a single crochet right there. There we go. Okay, do the same thing. Pull up on your yarn a little bit, yarn over and go into the single crochet twice, and into the base hole, and into the next hole. Grab your yarn and pull through.